What's up? Hey, what's good? What's poppin'? I am Miss Bear. Welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you guys for sliding through and coming to kick it with me. As you guys can see from the title, looks like I ain't got on no shirt, but no, as you guys can see from the title, we are getting up into Elvis and the Black community as recommended by quite a few of you that I react to this because, you know, my last video, well, one of my last videos that I posted of Elvis, you know, just asking, you know, was he racist or whatever, even though I know, you know, Elvis wasn't racist. You know, I have my own perspective, but you know, it was those inquiring minds. So yeah, we had to talk about it. And you guys recommended that I react to Elvis in the Black community. So no problem at all. Y'all know I love Elvis. So let's go ahead and get straight up into it. All right, y'all. Okay, let me stop being so animated. I don't know. I'm like this every day, y'all. Even off camera. Don't ask no questions. I don't know. Hey, Mr. Presley. And before you know what I'm saying, we actually play, because I know I just paused up within 5 seconds, but y'all, let's just take a moment to, you know, just like a quick little moment of silence for Lisa Marie Presley, who just recently passed. You know, rest her soul. Very, very sudden, very tragic, and it's also very sad, you know what I'm saying, because you know, we're in a new year and stuff. Like, you know, we just seen her at the at the Globes, you know what I'm saying. So it's just, you know, it's just, life is just short. Like, you can literally be here 1 minute and gone the next. But we all knew that already. We all knew that life was short. We all knew it can happen like that. We all knew this already. So, you know, at least she's with her father now. She's at peace, you know, not in this cruel cricket world. You know, she ain't struggling with absolutely anything. And it's so heartbreaking. So let's just take a quick moment of silence for her. Okay, y'all? All right. All right, y'all. Quick little moment of silence. So let's go ahead and get straight back up into the video.
I thought he was a very beautiful, and still is, a very beautiful person, and his memories shall probably forever live on.
Well, you ain't nothing but a rabbit. You ain't no friend of mine.
There is no room in this city for the vulgar performances of Elvis Presley.
It's shocking. I watched him gyrate his legs and swivel his hips.
It's just, I'm sorry. Y'all sound like some straight haters. Y'all sound like some haters. You sound, lady, you sound like you need some, and sir, you sound like, you know what I'm saying? You a little jealous. You was a little jealous that he was gyrating and moving them legs. Like, because you couldn't move them legs like him. Y'all need to, you know what? I'm glad that I was not, I mean, you know, a part of me is kind of glad that I wasn't, you know, around that time. But, you know, times has changed. You know, you can't really do a lot. You can't really stay a lot. You know, I mean, well, back then, I just, you know, think that you couldn't really do or stay a lot because, you know, things are different than what they are now, of course. But to me, y'all sound like some haters. Okay?
Parent teachers group feels he should not be on television.
You shouldn't even be on television.
Set up a 20-man committee
to serve white customers.
Do away with this vulgar, animalistic, nigger rock and roll bop. Our committee will check with the restaurant owners and the cafes to see what Presley records is on their machines, and then ask them to do away with them.
You've learned anything from the criticism leveled at you?
No, I haven't.
You haven't, huh?
Because I don't feel
Look
I'm
at
doing
baby
anything wrong.
Elvis.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Rock and roll has
I was
got
dancing.
to go. And go it does at KWK. We're all through playing rock and roll records. This week is record-breaking week here at KWK. And after this week, no more rock and roll will be played on the air.
The obscenity and vulgarity of the rock and roll music is obviously a means by which the white man and his children can be driven to the level with a nigger. It is obviously nigger music.
Everybody mostly turned him down.
If I could just come through there and just slap that man, say nigga one more time, for one. Two, what's nigga music? Because Renee. Y'all, it's no feelings involved in this stuff. I be having to, tell myself, but I get real defensive about man, okay? It's real hard to watch this video with certain stuff being said, certain things, because, these are clips from the past, from, things that was happening. It's just crazy to see clips of real life people in real life places with real life signs and all this stuff that was real. It was like real. And I'm sorry I keep pausing it like this, y'all, because y'all know normally I don't just pause a lot of times, but I be having to say what I need to say while we own the subject, because at the end of the video I could say a whole bunch of stuff and not necessarily everything that I wanted to say because I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, I wasn't really too fond of that part, y'all. Excuse my language, I don't mean to offend nobody or anything like that, but yeah, I wasn't too, I ain't like that. I'm sorry, I ain't like that. It wasn't even the simple fact that he was just Caucasian, saying it. It was a simple fact that everything about it, everything from him saying it to why he said it and all of that, like what? Like I'm sorry, I didn't know that, Caucasian people had that was, musicians had to make certain types of music, but back then rules was rules. People just, their perspective was their perspective. They just think this, they just think that. And honestly, people were putting out certain kind of music and this and that, and then you had this trendsetter. You hear me? You had this trendsetter called Elvis Presley. You know what? I don't even know. I don't even want to pronounce his middle name wrong, even though I know it's not hard to pronounce. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? We have this gym. You know what I'm saying? Who come along and show you something different than the stuff that you normally see every day on a day-to-day basis. A trendsetter setting his own trend, being his own person, and now it's just nigger music. Oh, my heart.
And because first thing, he had Negroes' ways. This is what they didn't really at that time. They didn't want to accept.
By
that's true.
Black performers.
Hey, Steve.
And he, in essence, because of at that particular time, the kind of backwards mental capability that many people had as judging a person because of the color of their skin is somewhat still does exist. Mm-hmm. But back then it was worse, and he actually, because of him being a Caucasian brother, he was able to do away with that whole thing.
He's 77-year-old Early Wright, a disc jockey at radio station WROX in Clarksdale for 45 years.
Hi there. Pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How do you do? This is your soul man to be with you until I get through. I want you to stand by, don't have no fear. Following Jay's show, should I play one like this one from out of here? Elvis Presley.
Elvis's songs still get good play on Wright's program among the blues, gospel, and jazz recordings that are its staples. It was almost 40 years ago when Elvis drove down to Clarksdale from Memphis with a record and asked him to play it.
And I had been playing his record, and I had never seen him before, and I was amazed to see him. When he introduced himself to being Elvis Presley, then I went all to pieces over him. Then he and I started talking. I used to be the manager of a gospel group called the 4-Star Quartet. And I could listen to a man sing a hymn. I could listen to a man sometime talk. I did that. And I could pick him out whether he could fit in my group. And talking to Elvis Presley, I could see a great future in him.
It's no accident that Wright recognized Elvis's strong gospel roots. Here at the East Trigg Baptist Church in Memphis, older members of the congregation remember Elvis joining in with the choir while in high school. These were rousing sessions led by the charismatic pastor, the Reverend W. Herbert Brewster.
Like most black people in the South, and to whose throat God has pressed down a harp of 1,000 strings, it only needed tuning. Elvis's voice was that type of voice that agreed with the thought of Calvary. He had that kind of bent and inclination and attitude that suggested that God could use him. I gave the music a different approach, a new beat. I knew that it wasn't going to hurt if I said, "Must Jesus bear the cross alone," whether I've said with one beat, two beat, whether I've said it high or low. And I told them, "Come on in here and put your stuff together." They came in here, and it was a glorious experience, and Elvis was in that group.
Elvis came out with a style of his own, and it was very creative. And once he got in...
Okay, so y'all, I'm sorry to pause it again, but yeah, he came out with a style of his own. Of course, you know, it's like you guys were saying in the comments, some of you guys, because it was a lot of people that say that, you know, he stole his whole complete style from his, you know, his tone, like the way he sang, his flow of, you know, just everything. He stole it from, was it Roy Hamilton? Am I saying his name correct? But in all, you know, he looked up to Roy. You like, you know, he was a huge inspiration. It's the difference, like you guys said, from actually stealing somebody stuff, like their whole everything, and being inspired. And at that, you know, like he's his own person, his own voice. If he's around all of these great inspirations, I mean, what you thought was gonna happen? Like,
and you got that feel. Elvis just took off like a late freight. And with Elvis doing this kind of music, gave an injection to black music that no other artist had ever done.
It was like an earthquake in my neighborhood. The whole place was shaking when he came on. And I said, how did a person possess that kind of power? That it even comes off the TV and grab me in this ghetto neighborhood.
Elvis took my Tutti Frutti, and I was very disgusted. But by him singing it, he really made it bigger and made me bigger.
During those days, if it was a white...
That's what I'm saying. Well, did y'all hear what he said? He took this song, even him perform, it made him richer. It made him richer because here it is, you know, in a time where, you know, whites only, blacks only, this or that, you know, but, you know, things were changing. At a time like that, here you have this Caucasian man up here performing Lil Richie's Tutti Frutti. You feel me? And so, of course, like, he's drawing more attention. Like, just him singing it alone, like, that's promotion right there. And it's not even just him, oh, I would just wanted to promote it. This is music that he actually loved. You know what I'm saying? And he was just really like a true, you know, true artist, who was just definitely heavily influenced. I say heavily influenced by music. Like, he was just here lent to us, you know, as just a charm, like just a gem to just spread his talent. And it's just crazy how after all these years later that his legacy is still big in what it is, and it's growing.
Doing something they would just say, they don't like our blacks and we don't like them either. He's nothing but a copycat. But Elvis Presley, when he came on, chicks was screaming and going crazy, and it was like in any other neighborhood. And I said, this guy's got something going, man.
Elvis had something that made him sound like he truly meant it, and that's what made a lot of people like myself like him.
I think Elvis had lots of soul. He appealed to black people. He definitely had to have soul in order to do that.
I think there's ever been an artist that when his name went on the marquee, they knew he was coming. People came from all over the world.
Sir,
I never heard of that.
Elvis did a lot of stuff that, you know, rappers do these days.
He had the bling. You gotta have the bling when you're from Memphis.
He had the bling, you know, he had a Cadillac, you know, he had like a gangster.
3-6! I'm sorry
As
for
the
yelling,
snow
y'all.
flies on a cold and gray Chicago morning, a poor little baby child is born in the ghetto.
The song also resonates with people who've only met Elvis through his songs.
Elvis talking about the hood, you know, he's talking about where we come from.
Paul Beauregard and Jordan Houston are the Oscar-winning rap duo 3-6 Mafia. They grew up just 2 blocks from Graceland in one of Memphis's poorest neighborhoods.
I want a CD scratcher.
My mom used to always listen to this song when I was young. He talked about, you know, things that she went through. You know, she had like, you know, my mom had a bunch of kids, like 9 kids. You know what I'm saying? That's how you get somebody to listen to your song. You talk about what they know about and what they want to hear. And she know about the ghetto, because, you know, she lived in the ghetto.
In the ghetto.
That's it.
And his mama cries. But if there's one thing that she don't need, it's another hungry mouth to feed in the ghetto.
After we find the part on the record that we want to use, we sample it into the drum machine or the keyboard. That way we can loop it like.
My first line says, first I'm broke, so I hang out with the rat and roach. It's still broke, so I'm sleeping on apartment floors. So it's just like the struggle, you know, what's going on in the hood. First I'm broke, so I hang out with the rat and roach. It's still broke, so I'm sleeping on apartment floors. And I was off beat, but it's all good, cause it's on TV.
Well, that's that
maybe
Juicy J
do some
flow.
edits, make me look cool, maybe put my name in the credits.
Like every time he come on, y'all, every time any Juicy J song, like that's how he rap. If you guys are familiar with, 3 6 Mafia or just Juicy J, who also, put out his own music as a solo artist. But, that's his flow. Every time I hear it, I just get hype. I don't know why. Like, just his I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask no question. But let's get back to Elvis.
Once we have all that ready, we load it into the drum machine and then pay out.
So he starts to roam the streets at night, and he learns how to steal, and he learns how to fight in the ghetto.
Survival is an everyday task. Watching your back for the man wearing the mask. I say you might get stuck if you in the hood looking like you came up. We ride old school whips, high off the ground, right beside a player hill. It ain't as bad as it seems. We still stay fly, looking so clean.
First I'm broke, so I hang out with the rat and roach. And still broke, cause I'm sleeping on apartment floors. The junkies get up, kick when they smoke a brick. I never seen a drug dealer ever call it quits. The hood struggle is to make it, gotta get the change. See, every day is like a dark cloud full of rain. The feds tapping for it's dangerous when you hood trapping. So don't get lost in the sauce slinging, cold crackling.
So help your brother along the way, no matter where he starts. But the same God that made you.
Look at the baby Elvis. And look at the cute boy. Look at the chunky cheeks. Oh, look at the baby Elvis, y'all. And looking at both his parents, like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, he had similar features of both his parents, but me looking at both his parents, I don't see Elvis. Like, I mean, I see Elvis, but I don't see Elvis like he his own person. Like, I kind of see him a little bit in the daddy, a little in the mama. Like, I see him a little bit. I think that's, but I don't see Elvis. Like, they created this. How amazing. How freaking amazing. Some really handsome and beautiful people out in this world, y'all. But what I was gonna say about the song, I love the way that they, they took it and they sampled it and then, they turned it into something else. It's definitely not something that I honestly would download on my phone. Because it's just, I don't know. I wasn't really getting the vibe like I wanted it on my phone, but it's something that, I hear, I'm like, okay, what's this? But yeah, but at the same time, I like how they, still took it, sampled it, and made it their own to, tribute to aliens.
Made him too.
Everybody
These
who
men with broken
grew up in the
hearts.
ghetto can relate. For sure.
During the 60s and early 70s, when tensions between blacks and whites were at an all-time high, Elvis demonstrated his desire for racial reconciliation in the musicians that he chose and the treatment they received.
When we first decided to take the gig with Elvis, we had no idea that there would be any racial flag regarding it. Our first racial encounter was when we went to Texas. Elvis was told by his people that, well, you can leave the black girls home. You don't have to bring them. So Elvis wasn't going to do the Astrodome unless his girls could be with him. And he demanded that we be given the star treatment. We had to be in our convertible where everybody could see us, and our little blonde could drive us. And that was his statement. You don't like it? Deal with it, or I'm not going to be there. And I thought that was very big of him.
When I joined the group in 1972,
They took a big chance because there were no blacks in contemporary or Southern gospel music, and I was the first one, and it made all the headlines and everything. It was in Billboard and all the newspapers in Tennessee. And my first time meeting Elvis was, he had a folder full of clippings of things that he had read about me. As a matter of fact, the Imperials brought me to his suite, and he gave me this folder with all the clippings, and he personally welcomed me into the family. And for a guy who, you know, didn't really know where he stood, this was very important, that he acknowledged my presence and, you know, made me feel very much a part of what we were all doing. And right away, he treated me like he'd known me for years. He gave me one of those TCB chains and everything, and I was just one of the guys, and I never forgot that.
And I'd been around him with people, other people of color, and I've only seen him give love. He was very generous to people that he didn't even know. You didn't have to be of any racial persuasion for him to love you.
And you know, you know how rumors get started when there's a big star or something. The people will start rumors. Well, he doesn't like this kind of people, or he doesn't like those people or that people. And I never got that from him.
But you know, Elvis is a whole nother thing. It's just,
50.
I think it's scary to even be compared to people in that, like,
that caliber.
You know what I mean? Because he's such a big talent, and in his absence, of course he's bigger than in his presence. And music marks time, so in this time period, what Elvis was to his period would be something totally different. Well, I think rock and roll, I mean, what he brought to Vegas is more than rock and roll. I mean, I think it's just so much going on out here on the entertainment front. Like right now, you'll see the likes of Celine Dion and Tony Braxton. It's a lot going out here. You know what I mean? As far as rock and roll is concerned, it's great. I mean, Elvis Presley was able to do things that haven't been able to be duplicated to this day.
Black American music influenced Elvis. The fact that people say, well, he's the king of it all, king of rock and roll, is a slap in the face to those that made the music possible in the first place. Not to say he wasn't brilliant. I think he was a fantastic, talented singer.
I don't think he ripped them off. I think once something has been exposed, anyone can add or take from it if they like. He was just so great, so popular, so hot, so anything that he played, it became a hit. To me, they didn't make a mistake when they called him the king.
The only thing I want to know, was he my friend?
I can't remember. Oh, there we go, Sammy.
Did I enjoy him as a performer? Did he give the world of entertainment something? Yes, on all counts. And that's the name of that tune.
He was a bundle of energy set to music. And that echo will never die.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all, so we're going to end the video right there. Just look at him. All right, y'all. So let's end that there like that. Definitely very interesting. I'm glad that I got a chance to take a look. This is only part 1, so you guys stay tuned and look out for part 2, because I will most definitely be dropping that one as well, because we're going to keep digging. So, what I gotta say is Elvis is most definitely king. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, I do agree with, you know, what they were saying with, you know, king of rock and roll and stuff like that, because we do have those that came before. You know what I'm saying? That he had looked up to for inspiration, and that, you know, so I can agree with what they're saying there, but I'm not discrediting his talent. The fact that he still is a king, it might not be the king of just rock and roll, because like I say, unless, you know, you want to say it's more than one king of rock and roll, it could be more than one, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's most definitely good to just hear the backstories of different people, and just hear, you know, their experiences with Elvis, of those who had the opportunities to actually meet him in person and, you know, work with him, you know, be on stage with him, travel with him, and all types of stuff that I wish that I could do or could have did. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I am with just such great artists, you know? Like, you just wish that you could have been alive when they were. You know, it just sucks because when Elvis was alive, the whole time he was alive, walking this earth and everything, like I have not been alive as long as Elvis, you know, like I have not lived the same time he lived. Like I wasn't even born or thought of when Elvis was here, and when he passed away, I still was not born. So just for me to, you know, dig into Elvis and just feel how I feel, and to not even be of existence of the time that he walked the earth and even when he passed, like it's just crazy. Like I don't know, y'all. I know everything is the way of life, but just to even talk about, oh, he walked the earth and he did this, he did that, it's just crazy to me how we all, you know, we all one day pass away, and that's just a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But you know, that subject in my mind can get really deep because it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just so weird how, you know, a person can literally be sitting here like you and me, walking, talking, looking, eyes open, and then, you know, like creating memories, aging, growing, all types of stuff, and then it's just not here. So I don't know, it's just, mama, it's a lot for my brain to process. With that, it always has been, and it just, you know, I understand to a certain extent, but I don't think it'd be anything anybody would really get used to, even though it's just a part of life. But anyway, y'all, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this reaction video just as much as I enjoy reacting to it. It's a pretty lengthy video, y'all, so I really hope that you guys enjoy it. But y'all, comment down below, let me know your thoughts on the video, let me know what you think. Also, shoot me some recommendations down below. Don't forget to also thumbs up, like up this video, y'all. Y'all, go over to Elvis' channel now and show him some love by hitting that red subscribe button. Subscribe to his channel. The original video will be linked in my description box down below, just in case you guys want to check it out on your own personal time. You know, if you want to watch it again, it's completely up to you. Also, guys, if you are not subscribed to my channel, then don't leave without hitting that red subscribe button and ringing that bell, so when I drop a new video, you will know, you won't miss it, and you will be right here with us, with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But as always, y'all, I really appreciate you guys for coming through, coming to vibe out with me, you know, hang out with me and all of the above. But you know, until next time.